Okay, so next on our list is Uniswap. So Uniswap's website's really simple. This is the app page. If you go to uniswap.org, it'll give you all the detailed page. Uniswap is really, trying to do one thing. It's trying to make it easy and decentralized to switch between two assets. And we're not going to get too much into detail of like constant product and AMMs, automatic market makers, and kind of how that works. But really, what you need to understand is that Uniswap allows anybody to say, "Hey, I have a pile of ETH and I have a pile of USDC. I have a pile of both. I am willing to sell ETH to anybody or buy ETH from anybody. I'm willing to sell USDC to anybody. I'm willing to buy USDC from anybody. You're truly neutral, or you have some kind of range of neutrality between two assets. I'm willing to have ETH and I'm willing to have USDC. People who want to switch between those two then go to you and say, hey, I saw that you're willing to buy ETH or sell it, and buy USDC or sell it. That's what this pool is. People pool piles of both together, allowing anyone to automatically trade between them. So Uniswap is the decentralized way of doing that. You saw earlier that I had like 0.2 ETH on this account. So if I did 0.1, we saw on CoinGecko before what the price of ETH was almost 1,600. So here 0.1 ETH, 156. That makes sense. And then we would just hit the swap button, and the swap button would pull up MetaMask. It kind of walk us through the things we need to know. I'll go ahead and tell you now. It's a little bit hard to think about some of this stuff, but essentially because it's a pool of money and because transactions are bundled into blocks, you don't really know what order you're going to go to. So if I'm first in the block, I might get 0.1. I might sell 0.1 ETH for 156 USDC. But if I'm last in the block and other people were in front of me in line doing the same exact trade within my block, then what could happen is I could get a little less. And that's what this minimum received means. I could get as low as 155 instead of 156. And that's because we don't know. We don't know the future. We don't know where my transaction is going to be in the block. So just important stuff to think about. We'll talk about that a little more on the next section when we talk about Etherscan. But really what you need to see here is it allows anyone to make these swaps. It kind of tells you, price impact means like the effect you have on the price. When you sell something, you lower its price. This tells you the slippage, which is like, I might not go first. So if other people are doing this ahead of me, they're going to change the price as they sell. So I have to tolerate a range of values in my trade. And this is very different than what you think of with like central exchanges like Coinbase, where you know exactly the price you're going to get. You say, I want to limit sell. I want to sell only at this exact price. The consequence there, though, in central exchanges is that you might not be able to sell all of your thing at the exact price you want. Uniswap flips that. Uniswap says, yeah, we can sell all of it, but you're going to get between this number and this number. And then, of course, network fees, because Ethereum costs gas and things like that. So Uniswap's really cool. They're live on a few different blockchains. So again, Ethereum's a little expensive. You saw it's like, what is this? It was like $5 to make a trade here. On Polygon, if I switch blockchains to Polygon, there's wrapped ETH, which is, it's not technically real. It's technically like a synthetic whatever of ETH because it's on a different chain. There are some rules around allowing. We're not going to talk about that, but the first time that you use an application, you have to confirm, I'm allowing this application to use my stuff. But yeah, so similar price, 156, but the network fee is like almost free because the Matic token's small and Polygon is more centralized. So we're not going to get too much into all that right now. We'll get through it in section 3. But this is Etherscan. This is Uniswap. You saw trades here. You could buy Ethereum instead. How much, what does 156 get me? Almost 0.1, hopefully. Yeah, almost 0.1. And same thing as we saw before. I had to tolerate getting a little less. I paid network fees, blah, 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 blah. And pooling is like I mentioned before. This is more complicated. We're not going to talk about this in too much detail, but just to show you the theory side of it, right? What I was doing before, USDC and ETH trades, there's a pile of money willing to do trades with me. We're not going to get into this in much detail, but be aware that the way it works is people put a pile of money, a pile of ETH and a pile of USDC, and they say, I'm willing to trade either direction for a fee. 0.3% is this fee. You saw MetaMask was 0.875 in the last video. This one's 0.05. Okay, it gets complicated, but yeah. Again, there's a pile of money. You swap between that pile. That's all I really need to focus on for Uniswap at this level of understanding. So let's move on to Flipside Crypto.